New York City, borough of Queens. All is quiet on a Friday night, but the big blow, well, she's a-coming. Terry Collins and his Mets hoping to get a win under their belts before battening down the hatches and getting ready for the big storm. As for the Atlanta Braves, well, they've been traveling to a different beat, sitting atop the wild card standings and hoping to cruise on into October. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves. Mets baseball is presented in HD by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling will join me in just a little while as the Mets play the Atlanta Braves. They're playing tonight. The weather's beautiful, but with Hurricane Irene on the way, the games between the Mets and Braves for tomorrow and for Sunday have both been postponed. They'll both be made up as part of a doubleheader on what previously was an off day on Thursday, September 8th at 4 o'clock. Injury notes for the Mets. Well, Miguel Batista is here. The 40-year-old right-hander replaces Scott Hairston on the roster. Hairston on the disabled list with a strained oblique. And Terry Collins had to scratch Jason Bay from the lineup tonight. Bay hurt himself diving for a ball on Tuesday night in Philadelphia, jammed his right shoulder, and so he'll get tonight off. So the Mets and Braves will play just this one game and then take the next couple of days off. Terry Collins said, I'm getting in the car tomorrow morning and I'm heading west to try and get away from the storm as the entire metropolitan area gets ready for the arrival of Hurricane Irene. The pitchers for the game tonight, Chris Capuano goes for the Mets. Tim Hudson will be on the mound for the Braves. When we come back, Kevin Burkhardt takes us behind the scenes. Rehab with Chris Young up ahead on SNY. Had a chance to go behind the scenes and get up close with how Chris is trying to come back to baseball next year.
Chris, is it tough to come in, put in the work you do? I mean, you're rehabbing 3 times a week just with the shoulder or over 2 hours a day. Is it tough to do just knowing still how far away you are from picking up a baseball and doing what you do?
Yeah, it is. It feels like this is such a long-term thing, and I've never really had, you want the instant results and gratification, and for me, that's going to be next year, hopefully at some point. And so to really go through all this and think that it's so far away, it's not how I would script it by any means, but it's what I have to do.
How do you gauge progress?
Just a little bit at a time. I can't get ahead of myself, and that's one thing that all the physical therapists and doctors have warned me about. It's a very long, gradual process, and that I can't get ahead of myself. I can't start thinking that, day one coming out of a sling, I need to be lifting my arm over my head. I mean, it's a gradual process, and so to be able to stay within certain ranges and time periods and just really evaluate for me on a weekly basis and say, okay, have I improved this week? And each week, gradually over the last 13 weeks, it's gotten better and better, which is encouraging.
Is there one particular exercise that just really dogs you in and is really tough to get through when you come and do it?
There are a lot of them. There are several of them that I don't look forward to doing. None of them because they give me pain, but just because I know that 1 or 2 reps in, I'm going to start feeling a pretty heavy burn. So anything with the scap and stabilizing the scap muscles and squeezing my shoulder blades together and trying to hold that through a range of motion, those are the challenging ones. And after 4 or 5 reps at a slow pace, I'm getting a pretty good burn with it. But I try to push through it and make it stronger by doing it.
What's tougher, the physical rehab or the emotional rehab?
I think the mental side's tougher. I mean, I love baseball, I love the team, and watching the games every night and seeing the guys out there and not being part of it, that's the hard part. The physical aspect I can go through, I can deal with the pain, the discomfort, the sweat, the hard work, all that, but not being part of something when you want to, you know how much fun it is to be around the guys and be part of it. It's just hard to sit out. Whenever I get back, I probably look forward to just being out on the mound and pitching pain-free and just focusing on competing. The last couple seasons haven't been fun, worried about when I'm out there, worrying about how my arm's going to feel, if it's going to hold up, going inning to inning really, and sometimes pitch to pitch, thinking is this, am I going to feel pain on this, and having that doubt in the back of the head. The game's hard enough to play when you're healthy, much less when you're hurt, and so to be back out there healthy and strong and just competing and being able to give my best to the opponent and for my team, I can't wait to do it because I've been there in my career where just things feel great and they fall into place and you're just out there competing and you don't have to worry about all this other stuff that isn't fun to think about. I truly believe with this team, with the Mets, the talent is in place, and that we've had a lot of bad breaks this year with injuries and stuff, but if things can come together and you never know what will happen. It's a great group of guys, and when you get a group of guys together that believe in one another, have a great leader, and go out and do things the right way, good things will happen. And so certainly, I want to be part of that, and it's a great organization, and that's my goal, to be out there, hoisting a trophy someday. But I got to get this thing healthy first.
Well, Chris made 4 brilliant starts for the Mets before he went down, but most of his season has been spent rehabbing. Mets and Braves coming up from Citi Field. First pitch in just a moment. big left-handed bats out of the lineup. Brian McCann and Jason Hayward with Chris Capuano starting tonight. But Chipper Jones is in. Dan Uggla is in. And Freddie Freeman, who is putting in a bid to challenge his teammate Craig Kimbrell for Rookie of the Year honors in the National League, is in as well against Capuano.
Well, Capuano, 55 wins in his big league career. This is his 150th start. His last start against his old mates in Milwaukee was a rough one. Give up 3 home runs and 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings.
By the way, that was Ron Darling, and now here's Keith Hernandez.
Dun, 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 dun.
I thought you were going to play Hail to the Chief.
I guess we're not going to do the defense.
I was anticipating a defensive.
We had a snafu in the truck.
Oh, snafu.
Well, you know it's bad weather coming, so.
Snafu. Is that our first snafu of the night?
First of many. Let's go.
Michael Bourne will lead things off for the Braves. Bourne has played 23 games for Atlanta since coming over in a deadline deal from Houston, and he has done exactly for the Braves what he was doing for the Astros, hitting a little over 300, stealing bases, scoring runs. The Braves have had a bit of an offensive renaissance lately. Their pitching had been carrying them for most of the year, and they are in solid position in the National League wild card race, 9.5 ahead of the Giants. First pitch of the night from Capuano is in for a strike, and we're underway. It'll be Bourne, Martin Prado, and Chipper Jones for Freddie Gonzalez's Braves, who left here 3 weeks ago, pretty much having buried the Mets as far as the Mets wild card chances. Remember, the Mets went into that series with the Braves 3 weeks ago 8 games behind. Atlanta took 2 of 3. In the last game, the Mets lost Jose Reyes and Daniel Murphy to injury. The Mets were then 9 behind. They're now 16.5 behind. Capuano, with a good slider, gets ahead on Bourne, 1-2.
That was a good slider. I'd like to see more of those against the left-hander for Capuano.
This is Capuano's first start against the Braves this year. He faced them in relief for 1/3 of an inning back in April. And he strikes out Bourne with a fastball and gets off to that start to begin the evening.
Well, this is something that Chris was using in the beginning of the year, that high fastball against the hitters. That has gone away for him, trying to find that today.
I think we've corrected our snafu.
Yes, and they got the right sponsor up there, too. It's Alexis Mets defense, and you can see Pagan. You can see the errors out there, 9, second most among major league outfielders. And Gary has mentioned it. He's been inaccurate with his throwing as well. And he's kind of regressed on the defensive side.
Here's Martin Prado playing left field tonight, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Prado at 271 for the year, 11 home runs. Moving to the outfield this year with the acquisition of Dan Uggla, but he's had to play a lot of third base with Chipper Jones sidelined from time to time. A ball and a strike to Prado. The Braves have not given up on winning the National League East. They start the night 6 games behind the Phillies. Braves have won 13 of their last 17. There's Jason Bay on the sidelines tonight with a jammed shoulder. Suffered trying to dive for a ball Tuesday night. And Prado lifts one to shallow right. Duda coming quickly. Turner out to try to help, but Duda gets there for the second out. Turner initially didn't go back on the ball, thought it was Duda's all the way. Then he saw how hard Duda was running, and he thought, well, maybe it's mine. Here's that play where Bay got hurt on Tuesday night.
This was the dive here, and when he fell down on that shoulder, and Worley, the pitcher, if you recall, was not running very hard. And Bay wound up getting up, throwing it hard home, but he kind of jammed that shoulder a little bit.
Stayed in the game and played on Wednesday as well, but that shoulder was barking tonight, and so he was a late scratch. Chipper Jones has been hot with the bat. 3 home runs in his last 6 games. And 3 against the Mets this year of the 47 he's hit in his career against New York. David Wright gets in front of the ground ball, throws out Chipper, and Capuano's got a fast start. A 1-2-3 opening inning. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first with no score. Night. Nick Evans at the big series in Philadelphia. 5 hits in his last 6 at-bats, with 4 extra base hits in those 6 at-bats. That's the lineup the Mets will throw out against Tim Hudson tonight.
Well, Tim Hudson, 178 wins in his brilliant career, 12 shutouts, one of them this year with 24 complete games.
Angel Pagan leads things off, bluffs a bunt, takes a strike. Angel just 2 for 13 in the series in Philadelphia, hitting a .264 for the year. Mets are facing Hudson for the 4th time this year. They beat him twice in a 10-day span back in June, but since that second loss to the Mets, Hudson has been on fire. His last 12 starts, 8-1 with a 1.91 ERA, and included in that was a dominating performance against the Mets 3 weeks ago, in which he went 7, allowed 1 run and 3 hits in a 4-1 Atlanta win. When the Mets faced him earlier in the year, it seemed as though Hudson was still battling some back problems that had caused him to miss a start back in May, but he appears fully healthy now.
Oh, good.
It's on Pagan. It's 2-2.
When you watch Hudson throw, he's got that 3-quarter action, but see where his hand is? His hand is on top of the baseball. He is one of the best at throwing from the same arm slot as they talk about, and different pitches move out of that slot. Hudson's one of the few guys, sorry Gary, he's one of the few pitchers in baseball can't call every pitch. It's very hard to know whether it's a changeup or a split finger because he throws both.
Here you see his numbers against the Mets this year, those 2 losses back in June, and then that wonderful game he pitched here. Now the 2-2, and that's right down the middle, strike 3 call. So Pagan is out looking for the first out.
Well, this was all set up with those hard breaking balls in on his hands, and that's not a great spot for a changeup. It did move, but it was up high and flat. A lot of plate, but he got him worried inside, Pagan, and there you have it. With the Coors Light Brave defense. Well, we all know about Ugla. He's more of an offensive player, and boy, what a second half he's had. He's been raging hot with the power numbers, 30 home runs on the year, but he's always been prone to making errors in the field.
Here's Ruben Tejada, recently installed as the number 2 hitter, and he has swung the bat well over his last 9 games, hitting .429. Tejada playing shortstop every day right now. Jose Reyes is in Binghamton tonight, ready to play his 2nd rehab game, and that's pulled past Chipper and down the line. And Tejada's got himself an extra base hit. Trotter to the corner to get it, and Tejada, after a wide turn, will hold at second with a 1-out double. 11th double of the year for Ruben.
Well, Ruben likes the ball down, and they all want to pitch him in now. When you pitch him in, you got to pitch him belt high up. Now he frees up his nicely done there with that low pitch, mid thigh.
And I'm surprised to see Chipper playing in that close. I don't think we've ever seen Ruben Tejada try to bunt for a hit.
I think even with the bag is fine for Tejada. He doesn't have that kind of speed where you've got to play in the grass. Personally, I don't think you have to.
So a runner at second with 1 out. Now David Wright. David coming off a big game in Philadelphia on Wednesday. Went 3 for 4 with a home run, couple of RBIs. He has 2 career home runs against Tim Hudson. And the breaking ball off the plate for ball 1. David's home run on Wednesday was his 11th of the year. It was an, boy, I wish I played in that ballpark kind of a home run. Just a little drive to the opposite field that probably wouldn't have made it to the warning track here. And Hudson moves him back 2-0.
When that ball left the bat in Philadelphia, never did I think that was going to go out of the ballpark. Maybe off the wall or a play by the right fielder, but that ball carried.
David was running hard.
Yes, he was.
Hudson behind on right, 2-0 with Duda on deck, and he comes inside again, 3-1. 3-0, excuse me. And Duda and his power waiting to follow.
Well, Hudson's got to be thinking in the back of his mind right now not to make a fat pitch here. This is a club that's out of it. They can just be footloose and fancy free.
And that's ball 4. So Hudson keeping that ball in on right. Walks him on 4 pitches. And the Mets have 2 men aboard for Duda.
That was a setup at bat there by Hudson. All those balls inside. He's going to be perfect or miss. Base open. Did all of that because later in the game you'll see him try to get right out away. Mark my words.
Now, are you telling me that he began that at bat thinking that?
No, but as soon as he went 1-0, he would try to pop him in. Once he missed with that 2-0 pitch, he wasn't going to throw anything fat.
So now Duda hitting .321 since the All-Star break with 7 home runs, and he pops it up. Should be playable for Chipper in foul ground, and that's the second out. So Duda down on 1 pitch, 2 out in the inning, and now Nick Evans getting a chance to play. Kind of a convoluted thing, but Evans is playing because of Duda and the fact that the Mets need to look at Duda in right field. They needed a first baseman to fill in, and Evans was the guy, and he's taken advantage the last couple of days. Had a couple of big days in Philadelphia. 5 hits in his last 6 at bats, including a 3-run homer on Wednesday. And he takes a pitch low for ball 1.
Well, all the pitches he hit, there's one that was down in the strike zone. But the other hits he got, which were the extra base hits to right center field, a double, and another double to left center field, were pitches that were up in the strike zone that he really turned on.
That is a Cholula who's very hot. It's a good changeup from Hudson, and it's 1-1. Well, the only time Hudson was retired in that 6 at bat span, as you look at the defense, was on a bullet line drive to third, his last time up on Wednesday. Tim Hudson, now 36 years old, 178 wins, 94 losses. He's had himself a great career and still going strong. 2 balls and a strike to Evans with Josh Thole on deck.
If you recall the last game he started, that game he went 7 strong, Gary, he was like this early too. Had a little trouble with his command. Mets left some men on base, and lo and behold, that 3rd inning, 4th inning, he found it, and that was it.
Well, it's always been the case with Hudson. He's one of those guys, if you want to get him, you got to get him early. 2-2 to Evans. He gets tougher and tougher as the game goes along. You can tell that from the batting average against him. 253 first time through the order, 234 second time through the order, 176 after that.
Well, that's the kind of pitcher you want.
So you see he's allowed more than his share of first inning runs, but after that, pretty much locked down. And Evans takes one just off the plate. Remember, he struck out looking in the first inning Tuesday night with the bases loaded.
Well, Nick is a high ball hitter. Anything down, he does not see well and lets it pass.
So now Tejada and Wright will be in motion. 3-2 and 2 down. And Evans takes it, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So a couple of close pitches from Hudson. 2 walks in the inning, and now Josh Thole will get an opportunity with the bases full. Roger McDowell, the Braves pitching coach. Braves with the 3rd best staff ERA in the National League. So an opportunity for Thole. 1 for 8 in the series in Philadelphia, hitting a .264 for the year. Tejada now at 3rd, Wright at 2nd, and Evans at 1st with 2 down.
To me, it looks like Hudson just has so much movement on his pitches that it takes him a while to corral it within the strike zone.
It's one of those games where you need 1 out to get out of this inning, and put himself in a little bit of trouble here.
Thole bounces one for Uggla to handle. And that does it for the Mets thread in the opening inning. A double, 2 walks, and the Mets leave 3 after 1 at Citi Field. No score. National League. As you can see, the Braves are 9.5 games clear in the wild card, 6 games behind the Phillies. The Brewers have the huge lead in the Central, and the closest race, although it's been lengthening, is the one out west with the Diamondbacks after a win last night from a rookie pitcher, Wade Miley, opened up a 3-game lead over the Giants. The Giants were beaten by a rookie pitcher, Houston's Henry Sosa, who spent 7 years in the Giants organization. That's a bad day for San Francisco.
Right.
Dan Uggla leads off in the second inning. Uggla has cooled off a little bit since his 33-game hitting streak. Nonetheless, he has had an amazing resurgence after an absolutely miserable start.
It's amazing that Uggla hitting only 194 against left-handers this season. 25 of his 30 bombs are against the righties.
Well, they got him to hit home runs, and he's got 30. He's the first Brave to hit 30 home runs in 5 years. And the 5th time in Uggla's career he's hit 30 or more. No other second baseman has had more than 3 30 home run seasons, and he's got 5. And he's still a relatively young player.
You know, Keith, you mentioned his average against left-handed pitchers. He's always traditionally been like that, even when he was in Florida, which is always shocking to all of us.
I just think he's a dead red hitter, and his little soft tossers give him a little trouble.
Only 2 for 11 in his career against Capuano.
He is a hacker. He does not get cheated up there.
Now the 1-2 on the inside corner. Capuano gets him looking with the fastball. That's the second strikeout for Chris. He has that tendency to strike out a lot of hitters early in the game.
He does.
He does because he's painting. I think after a while they might get on his changeup after a while, but you know his strikeout number is only second to Neath's this season. Well, they're around Dickey's too. RA.
So this is the Brave team that strikes out a lot. They've got 4 guys in this lineup with over 100 strikeouts,
including Freddie Freeman, who struck out 119, but he's had a fine rookie season, hitting a .293, 18 homers, 64 RBIs. In a normal year, he would certainly be a front runner for Rookie of the Year honors, but he won't even win Rookie of the Year honors on his own team, because Craig Kimbrell has had a season for the ages as the Braves rookie closer. 1-2 to Freeman, and I think most observers at this point are pretty much conceding that race to Kimbrell.
Well, he has 40 saves, which ties the major league record set all of last year by Neftali Feliz, and a long way to go, but he's pitched a lot of innings. He's had a lot of appearances, and they're going to have a lot of big games. So 6 more with the Phillies, home and home.
And he hasn't given up a run in 2.5 months.
It's unbelievable.
June 14th, the last time Kimbrell allowed a run. It was against the Mets. Here's the 1-2, and the slider low and away. 2-2 to Freeman. Well, that combination at the end of the game, O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrell, convinces the opposition that you better have a lead after 6. Freeman goes chasing, and Capuano has back-to-back strikeouts to start the second.
I think you watch Capuano. He's more over the top than Hudson. Gets on top of that ball and kind of drives that slider down and away from Freeman.
And this is getting fooled completely. There's the point of release. Not a pretty swing from Freeman.
Nice how Capuano releases that ball in front of his shoulder.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now David Ross getting the start behind the plate tonight, and he drives one deep but foul. Yesterday, Brian McCann hit 2 home runs in the Braves' victory over the Cubs. But since 2005, nobody who catches for a living has had more multiple home run games than David Ross. Ross has had 9 multiple home run games. So has Rod Barajas, and that leads all major leaguers since McCann came into the league.
I'll tell you, if you want a nice backup, because McCann plays every day, Ross is a good candidate.
Well, we were talking in Philadelphia, kind of joking about Brian Schneider's record when he starts for the Phillies. Well, Ross, 37 starts this year. Braves are 26-11. So that allows McCann to smile and take his days off.
25-3 now Schneider is.
That's ridiculous.
Right? I mean,
Well, considering Brian doesn't really add much offensively.
You're just thinking, where was that when he was with the Mets?
They would have appreciated that winning percentage, sure. But McCann may be the best catcher in the game right now. Here's the 1-2 to Ross. Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup, and Capuano strikes out the side in the second inning. Quite a start for Capuano. 6 up, 6 down with 4 strikeouts. No score at Citi Field. Kids go free to Citi Field with the purchase of a regularly priced ticket. Up to 3 children 12 and under will get free admission to games through next Thursday. Get to Mets.com/kidsfree for tickets and details. Justin Turner hitting 7th in the order tonight. Takes ball 1 from Tim Hudson. Turner just 5 hits in his last 41 at bats. Down to 255 on the year. And he pops one foul off the right side. And it was up in the air for a while whether the Mets and Braves were going to be playing tomorrow. For a while, the Mets considered moving what was scheduled to be a 4 o'clock game to noon. They finally decided to postpone it when Mayor Bloomberg and the MTA announced that they're going to be shutting down all the mass transit starting at noon tomorrow. Line the other way and playing shallow is Constanza right there to grab it and retire Turner 1 away. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. By Bud Light Lime, the just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. By your Tri-State Ford dealers. And by Chase, with over 16,000 ATMs nationwide and more on the way. Take a step forward and chase what matters. Jason Pridey getting the start tonight with Jason base scratched, and with Chipper Jones playing back, tries to drop down a bunt. 0-1. Anyway, so the Mets have postponed both tomorrow's and Sunday's games. We'll make them up as part of a doubleheader on Thursday, the 8th of September, which was to have been an off day for both teams. So the Braves will come back here for a 4 o'clock doubleheader that day. And Pridey has himself a base hit. The Mets' second hit off Hudson. And the Mets have a 1-out base runner.
So I'm assuming those tickets for the games this weekend are rain checks.
The Saturday tickets, if you have a ticket for tomorrow's game, that's good for the doubleheader on the 8th. If you have a Sunday ticket, you have to exchange it for another game.
Okay.
But when the Mets decided to postpone their game, the Jets and Giants were still going to play tomorrow afternoon. They had moved the game up from, I think, 7 to 2 o'clock. And now they've just decided they're going to postpone that too. until Monday, which I think is a wise decision since, there's no mass transit available. Not that many people take mass transit to the Meadowlands. You've done that, I know.
I have done it. It was a full day affair. Wow.
Yeah, it's a little car-centric over there. Capuano with 5 sacrifices and 4 hits on the year. But this is a weekend for battening down the hatches. Again, your candles and your flashlights ready just in case of power outages.
Batteries.
Pile of good books.
Lots of water, canned goods.
2-0 to Capuano. It's, people around here kind of go a little crazy when there's a big snowfall impending, but at least they're used to that. This is something that, we in the metropolitan area just have never had to deal with before, not on this scale.
Fill up your tub with water so you can wash in case there's a serious problem.
Capuano gets a nice bunt down, and Hudson makes the play. 1-4 on the sacrifice, moving Pridey to second.
Spoken like a true Floridian, by the way.
I have been on it. I'm going to be out on the island, so.
Oh, okay. You're riding it out on the island?
I'm going to be out there, so I'm good to go.
See, the way the storm appears to be tracking, you actually, as far out as you are, you might be in pretty good shape.
Well, we're going to get a surge, obviously, but I'm on the north part of the South Fork on the Peconic side. So the people in Southampton on the ocean, they got some issues to worry about.
I think we all have some issues to worry about. Angel Pagan took a call third strike his first time up. And he floats one into center field shallow. On comes Bourne to grab it, and that retires the side. A hit and 1 left. We're through 2 at Citi Field. Mets and Braves, no score.
No, thank you.
Well, here's your Toyota text ball for tonight. A little off the baseball beat. What makes you most nervous? A, a hurricane, B, a tornado, or C, an earthquake? Text 57508 and express your fear.
Keith and I have been through all 3. We have our answer.
We do. We concur.
Alex Gonzalez takes ball 1. Are you going to let us know? Or are you going to wait until the public expresses their opinion?
Yes. We don't want to influence anybody or tip off any text polls or, never like to do that.
Ball and a strike to Alex Gonzalez. Well, you generally give away the answer to the trivia question, although you've gotten better at that, I have to say.
I have.
You don't blurt the way you used to. A number to the right side, and Evans makes the long toss to Capuano. 1 away. So Gonzalez retired. And now Jose Constanza, who introduced himself to Citi Field quite notably the last time the Braves were here. Called up in late July, went 5 for 11 in that series against the Mets, including his first big league home run. And he has kept it up, hitting a .354 through his first 82 at bats. And he is getting to play just about every day now, as Freddie Gonzalez likes to keep his speed and defense in the lineup.
Remember, David's going to have to come in here, but we saw he also likes to run up and has that kind of slug bunt.
Kind of steps in the bucket. He's got a little Timo Perez in him.
He does.
Capuano throwing a lot of sliders early in the game.
In fact, he got out Gonzalez batter before with a slider.
Another one right there.
Do you think that's a conscious change in game plan for Chris?
I think it is. I think early he's been really just a fastball changeup pitcher, and working on the side, he's going to try to include. He's got to include all of his pitches. That's the most important thing. I'm sure Danny Worthen talked to him about that.
Out to left field, and Pridey has it measured. 2 out. So Constanza retired. Capuano has set down the first 8. And now Tim Hudson, not a bad hitting pitcher. 8 hits this year, including a home run.
Well, Tim Hudson, he was all world at Auburn. DH'd when he didn't pitch, played some outfield.
Yeah, I think 18 home runs in his college career. He drives this one to right field, and Duda is there, and that retires the side. 3 perfect innings for Chris Capuano. Scoreless game at Citi Field going to the bottom of the 3rd. Today's State Farm agent of the day is Gil Walton of the Bronx. Contact Gil's office at gilwalton.net. And by AT&T. Rethink possible. Here's your Mazda high-speed pitch for today. Both Tim Hudson and Chris Capuano topping out at 91 miles an hour. No score as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Ruben Tejada has the only extra base hit in this game. He doubled down the left field line in the 1st. That's loaded the bases in the 1st inning, but Hudson was able to steer clear. Tejada right, and Duda trying to get something done here in the 3rd.
We pushed Chipper back a couple of feet. Just a couple of steps anyway. Not on the grass.
And I think Freeman's in too close also at first base. And we've seen Tejada hit a number of balls right over the first base bag and down the line.
My feeling, if he wants to bunt, let him bunt.
And he lines one to left, and he's got his second hit of the night. Hanging breaking ball from Hudson, and Tejada's 2 for 2.
Continues the hit parade here, and he gets a hanger. You saw Hudson's expression after he turned his head. He knew he threw a helicopter.
So the Mets get the leadoff man on for the first time tonight, and now David Wright, who drew a 4-pitch walk his first time up. Go back to what you talked about in that first at bat. How does Hudson make use of that now?
Well, it might not be necessarily in this situation. He's still going to move the ball in and out. I'm talking about second and third and one out, something like that. But he wants to get David out of the way.
Double play bouncer for Gonzalez. Ugla with the turn. 6-4-3 double play. So just like that, 2 out and nobody on.
Oh, tailor-made right there. The Braves go home from here?
Yes.
So they're going to have 2 days off.
They have 3 days off. So they don't play till Tuesday.
They're going to have a lot of workouts down in Atlanta.
Yeah, think about it this way, though. What an opportune time for their bullpen to get some days off.
3 days is a little bit much.
Not too much.
A little bit. 2 would be great.
Lucas Duda takes a strike.
They're also a team that's been playing well. You kind of don't want to upset that rhythm. You got that mojo going. There's Freddie Gonzalez, first-year manager of the Braves, done a terrific job with his club. I've always liked Freddie. I always thought with the Marlins, the years he managed there, that team overachieved when he was there as skipper. Did a great job down there, keeping them competitive.
And of course, he had coached with the Braves and was the logical successor when Bobby Cox retired.
It's almost like Bobby had a chance to anoint his successor, didn't he?
Well, the Marlins gave him that chance by letting Freddie go. Fired him in the middle of last year.
Were there a couple games under 500 when they let him go?
Two-1 to Duda, and he yanks one foul.
Well, Jack McKeon, the Magic's kind of left a little bit. The Marlins have been playing terrible.
Yeah, they're back to where they were in June before Jack took over. Two from Hudson, and Duda hits it hard for a base hit. So Lucas is now hit in 6 straight games, and the Mets have their 4th hit off Hudson.
It's nice to see Duda. We remember earlier, Gary, around a month ago when he was struggling a little bit, just starting to turn it on. We were concerned about him not really getting the barrel through, but now he's really he's looking to pull more, and I think that that's a conscious effort on his part. His first at bat, he got beat inside a little bit. There he made the adjustment.
Nick Evans walked his first time. I think it's psychological more than anything else. I think Duda, when he first got here, was very tentative and a little timid. And I think as he's felt his oats and had some success, he's letting it fly a little more.
Yeah, he gets more relaxed. And let's face it, he's going to have to be a guy that's going to have to hit 20 home runs, and drive in 85 runs, which means he's got to pull the ball.
Evans hits one back to Hudson, who fields his position very well. And that retires the side. Mets get 2 hits and leave 1. No score after 3. Now let's go to the Verizon studios for an update from Matt Cerrone of Mets Blog, presented by Verizon.
true, too.
Follow the Mets with the MLB.com @Bat11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Check in using @Bat at Citi Field to receive special offers. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Mets.com for details. Top of the batting order for the Braves in the 4th inning against Chris Capuano, who's retired the first 9. Michael Bourne struck out his first time up. Bourne second in the league in base hits with 160. He's got 11 bunt hits this year, the king of the infield hit.
I'm going to like him as a player, though, because just like Hunter Pence, throughout all that tough play in Houston, he always hustled, always played hard.
Gold Glove center fielder, perennial National League stolen base champ, and now he hits 300. I mean, he's a good player. And Capuano gets him chasing that slider. That's 5 strikeouts now for Capuano through his first 10 batters. Martin Prado coming up. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin.
Guys, Jason Bay out of the lineup today, and just some shoulder soreness in that right shoulder. It all started from the play Tuesday in Philadelphia. If you remember, it was off the bat of Placido Polanco. It kind of came in, and it was an awkward type dive. He didn't make the catch and then kind of turned over and got up and threw the ball home. He said that's what did it. Was sore then. Play the game Wednesday, was kind of sore, and then when he woke up yesterday, sore the same. Not any worse. He felt like he needed to get a test. So they had an MRI done today. No structural damage. He totally expects to play on Monday. 2 days off probably will help him in that category. Guys?
Martin Prado flied out to right his first time up. If you're a ball player and you know you've got this break coming up the next couple of days, break but an odd one, obviously you have to be concerned about your family and taking precautions for the hurricane, but do you just lay low? I mean, I heard Terry Collins talking about some guys maybe coming to the ballpark and hanging out here for 48 hours.
Forget about coming to the ballpark. Stay with your family, lay low, stay safe. It's extraordinary circumstances.
Stay at the ballpark.
Yeah, they were said this might be the safest place to be.
Oh, hypochondria. Oh. The last place I want to be the ball yard.
We're talking about using the batting cage.
Oh, please.
Maybe sleeping here. Punch toward the middle of the diamond. Turner over, makes a nice backhand play. Evans off the bag, puts on the tag, and Prado is out. Pretty play on both ends by Turner and Evans.
Well, nice backhand. Turner had one in Philadelphia like this and couldn't complete it. But Evans wisely comes off the bag. Actually had no choice but to come off the bag.
Home Depot doing more on defense.
Remember, though, that throw he threw that he missed that play, Keith, was on the other side of the bag.
Yes.
So he erred on that one. You still have a chance that way.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Chipper Jones, who grounded out to third his first trip. And he takes the changeup for ball 1. Chipper now with 449 career home runs. 47 of them against the Mets. Back-to-back changeups, 1-1.
Well, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question.
He has talked about retirement after this year, but still has a contract next year and is unlikely to leave $14 million on the table.
Well, we've heard him talk about retirement before. Boy, look at home runs most all time. Right behind one of my favorites as a kid.
One-two from Capuano. Just missed inside with that fastball. 2-2.
Let's see. Nope.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Capuano with his 6th strikeout. And Chris is perfect through 4. No score at Citi Field. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Acela Express, where you can plug in and work or sit back and relax. Book now at Amtrak.com. Josh Tolle leads off in the home 4th inning in a scoreless game and takes a strike from Tim Hudson. Tolle came up with the bases loaded and 2 out in the first and hit a ground ball that resulted in a fielder's choice to get Hudson through the inning. It'll be Tolle, Turner, and Pridey for the Mets in the bottom of the 4th. And he misses inside and falls behind Tolle 3-1. That's got the leadoff man on in the 3rd inning. Tejada with a base hit, immediately erased in a double play. Hudson has walked 2. They both came in the 1st. And Tolle gets jammed and pops one up. Foul and out of play, 3-2.
Very relaxed.
Looking very relaxed. You know, the Braves were going through all this uncertainty today, not knowing what was going to happen the rest of the weekend. As the visiting team, they were in their hotel in Manhattan, and apparently some of them didn't get the word that tomorrow's game had been postponed. Grounded down to first, and Freeman has the big hop for the first out. And apparently some of them made it to the ballpark without knowing, and they had to go back into the city to pack their bags, check out of the hotel, and bring their stuff back to the ballpark.
On a Friday?
Well, I don't know if they took the subway or I don't know how they did that.
A lot of guys come to the park earlier.
Yeah,
that would have been problematic in our day.
Right, because I think the announcement, I think Mayor Bloomberg actually announced it first, was right around 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
That the game was going to be postponed. So some of those guys might have been at the ballpark already.
Right.
Justin Turner takes a strike, so they have to trek back into the city, pack their bags, and bring them back in, because the Braves are going to fly out of here tonight and go home, and then they'll have 3 days off.
I remember back in the day when I was a Cardinal, and it's a nice play.
It's the best in baseball right there.
Anthony. 8 o'clock starts back in those days, if you recall, Gary, the night games at Shea, and the bus would be at 5 o'clock, and we'd leave from it used to be the old Sheridan over on 6th Avenue or 7th. And it would take 1 hour on that bus to get to the ballpark. And you remember, the bus couldn't go on the highway. The bus had to go over the Queensboro Bridge, 59th Street Bridge, and go up Northern all the way to Shea. And that was the route home. And it took 1 hour in rush hour, and it took you all of 35 minutes to get out of the city at 5 o'clock.
Why don't you just take the 7 train?
Because I never liked to get to the ballpark early.
So you're saying this was a good thing that you got stuck in traffic on a Friday?
Newspaper, read the sport page. You're not driving.
I can't even imagine these guys getting here at 6 o'clock.
Exactly.
Here's the 0-2 to Turner, and it's off the plate. But when you played for the Mets and you lived in the city, did you take the 7 train ever?
No, I had went on the Ribmobile, Rusty's Ribmobile. Well, when I had a car a couple years, you had to get out of the city by 3. You had to get in your car at 3.
Gonzalez with a nice play to get Turner a second out.
Because if you anything after 3 on a Friday in the summer during the season, if you left at 3:30, you're going to get stuck in traffic. So 3 o'clock was kind of.
By the way, nothing's changed.
Right.
What we used to call it, Emerson Fittipaldi's Brazilian rib machine.
Yes, that's right.
Who did the driving?
Rusty, of course.
He was at the wheel.
Oh, Rusty. He likes to manage his own life.
You know how people have those old jalopies drive around with those people in the Mercedes and the Jaguars? They're scared to death. Don't want their car dinged up. That was Rusty. he would throw his weight around the avenues. Trust me.
Were you like hanging off the side of the truck? Pridey lines one into right field, and he has his second hit of the night. So Jason Pridey, a late insertion into the lineup with Jason Bay scratched, is 2 for 2. And that'll help the Mets clear the pitcher's spot here in the 4th.
On the way back, there were no seats in the back, so you had to sit on milk crates.
That's right. It was a completely stripped van because he put all his fish and ribs in there.
So you weren't sitting on like piles of ribs.
No. Sitting on the milk crates.
On the wheel, on the wells. Inside. Lynchy, Ronnie, and I. Sometimes Danny Heap.
The Heaper.
This was your best route home, huh?
And sometimes Rusty didn't get the hose and get the fish out. Oh, the odor was horrific.
Capuano sacrificed his first time up.
But we didn't mind if Ronnie went out and threw a 3-hitter, shut piece. Say, Rusty, don't scrub the car, don't scrub the van. Keep it the way it was last time.
There's a limit to superstition.
Right.
Cap can help his own cause here. 2-0 count. Knows he's going to get a fastball. Turn it up a notch.
We've seen him hit one over the left fielder's head, and Prado's playing very shallow. He hit one in spring training up in Vieira that short hopped the wall in left center to drive in 3 runs. He's got a couple of doubles this year. 3-1 to Capuano. And a big rip on 3-1. Capuano has 1 home run in his career. Looks like he might have been thinking about another.
Why not?
So now Pridey will be in motion. Freeman will play behind him. 3-2 to Capuano. And a high fly ball hit pretty deep to right center, but playable for Constanza. And he's there to grab it and end the inning. Capuano back to the mound. No score at Citi Field. Oh. I don't know offhand.
Neither do I.
You have to figure it might be this same guy who leads them in home runs all time. But if so, why would they ask the question?
So he's saying it's a surprise answer then.
Might be somebody else.
It should be.
It's not Chris Capuano, who took a pretty good swing, but
did.
Came up a few feet shy of the warning track. Dan Uggla will lead off for the Braves in the 5th inning. Let's check in with Kevin.
You know, guys, this week we've looked a lot at the Mets minor leagues, kind of see who is up and coming, who can help this team. and who may be here, soon, and maybe who they have deep in the system. We've done a couple of positions. We did second base, we did left field, we've done relief pitcher. Well, today we look at center field, and it's kind of a center field / right field look at a couple of guys, a couple of names. One of them is Cesar Puello, who we've talked about before. I actually interviewed here at Citi Field last year. He's a 20-year-old kid the Mets signed out of the Dominican Republic when he was 16 years old, as Ugla leads off against Capuano here in the 5th at Citi Field. And this is a guy that, he's still developing. He's still raw, but scouts tell me he's got great tools. And I think what the other scouts agree on is that his work ethic is impeccable. He loves the game. Work ethic is terrific. Both years, last year in Savannah and this year in St. Lucie, he got off to really slow starts and then kind of came on. And that's been the thing with Puello. Now, another guy who's higher up is Matt Dendecker. He's a guy who was a 5th-round draft pick last year out of Florida, and he got promoted to Double-A, started in Single A. He's had the power numbers this year, but center field guys, he plays a great center field. But people tell me that his swing is too big right now. He strikes out an awful lot, and right now they're saying that swing might not translate to this level. So defense for Dendecker, okay. He's at the power numbers this year, but that swing, Keith, about being too big. It might not work here. So far, you look at the strikeouts, 141 strikeouts. Broken bat, Ugla's got a base hit.
So the Braves have their first base runner of the night, a shattered bat single for Dan Ugla.
And there's another sliver of a bat. That's how they break.
7,936 times a Met pitcher has taken the mound, and every time somebody's gotten a hit.
Boy, 10 hopper through the infield, too.
So Capuano will pitch out of the stretch for the first time. Freddie Freeman, the batter, struck out his first time up.
Well,
and the slider low and in.
Remember how badly he made Freeman look the first at bat on the strikeout on a slider, Ronnie. So let's see if he makes any adjustments. Let's see if Capuano changes the program. He's staying with the slider first pitch.
There's a fastball for a strike, 1-1.
Freeman really has that back elbow, forearm, really horizontal and shoulder level, way high. And you think that he would be like Cepeda with his bat straight up in the air. Orlando Cepeda, the great Hall of Fame first baseman for the Giants when I grew up. But his bat also is parallel to the ground. But you see he drops his hands as he takes on his take back.
It looks like that would be uncomfortable having that elbow up so high.
See how he changes everything though. He brings his hands down and back. His bat becomes more tilted, not horizontal. So it's just a comfort level. That's how he hit his whole life. That's his comfort zone. It's all about getting the barrel of the bat to the ball.
Double play grinder right to Turner. And Tejada with the easy turn for the 4-6-3 double play. Now the Braves get their first base runner immediately erased.
Not much movement in the take back. Nice swing. Oh, I tell you, Freeman didn't run this ball out at all, Ronnie. I wonder if he's got some aches and pains. I mean, he's not even better have, really.
21-year-old rookie. Can't be jogging to first. 2 out and nobody on. Here's David Ross, who struck out his first time up. Well, Capuano faced one batter out of the stretch, got the double play, and right back to the windup. And a first pitch changeup for a strike. So, Ronnie, we talked about earlier, throwing the slider earlier in the game. Does that make Capuano's changeup more effective in the middle of the game?
Yes, it certainly does. It makes them think about, and now Field and Colbert, the home plate umpire, calling that fastball, and it just makes them think about 3 different pitches. Chris, at this point in his career, cannot be a 2-pitch pitcher because he doesn't have enough on his fastball. So enough sliders are going to get him thinking that, that's a pitch that's coming in and a pitch that's going away like that.
So Ross down on strikes for the second time. That's 7 strikeouts through 5 innings for Capuano. He allows his first hit, but takes care of the Braves. Still a scoreless game. To the Minute Sports News and original video. Visit Facebook and like SNY today. Bottom of the fifth, top of the batting order for New York. Angel Pagan leads off against Tim Hudson. And Angel bluffs the bunt and takes ball one. Angels taking a call, third strike, and fly to center, 0 for 2. The Mets have 5 hits. The Braves have only 1. Hudson's also walked a pair, but both of those came in the first. Chipper Jones in very close against Pagan. Hudson has had a couple of those fastballs just right away from him tonight.
He's just not as sharp, especially with that front shoulder kind of flying open so far tonight. Knowing him, though, he'll kind of fix it.
Self-adjustment.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being your own chiropractor.
There you go. The thing about Hudson, very slow back. Doesn't really pick up the target till late, and really generates a real whip there at the end.
Well, he's not a big guy.
Yeah,
he's
he's
only
little.
6 feet, 180.
You can see him, though. He kind of coils up and goes nice and easy, and at the very end, just like a whip, just kind of almost propels his body to the catcher with a long stride for a guy his size.
Two to Pagan.
Watch how slow he goes. Stops his foot, and here's where he starts to really generate the high leg kick and really uncoils from there and moves very quickly to the plate.
I believe he's going to throw him a changeup here. He threw him 2 straight sliders in, and that was he wanted that for an out pitch.
He
right
did.
there.
Ruben Tejada on deck, then David Wright. Hudson now in his 7th year with the Braves. Because he missed one of those with Tommy John surgery. Back past the mound. Gonzalez flashing left, and the spin around throw, and he throws it away. Pagan's going to try for second. The throw by Ross, and Pagan is out. Now that ball hit off the fence in front of the dugout, and David Ross was there to retrieve it and gun down Pagan.
So all you kids, nice play by Gonzalez. Nice attempt. Terrible throw, a tough throw. But this is why your catchers back up, all you kids. just for that. It may not happen once in a blue. It may happen once in a blue moon. A lot of snow cone in that glove.
An alert play by Uggla, too, to get back to the bag there to cover because Gonzalez had taken himself out of the play on the throw. So 2-4 on the putout after the infield hit by Pagan. 1 out and nobody on. And now Tejada, who's 2 for 2, doubled in the first, singled in the third, pulled the ball both times. And he takes a strike from Hudson. And they still have Chipper in on the grass against Tejada, although Freeman has dropped back a little bit at first.
Just another example of David Ross is a winning player. Does the little things on his day. You know, everyone in today's game, of course, likes to slide head first. That's the norm. But the foot first slide into the glove there might have pried that ball loose.
Well, especially the way Uggla had it snow cone there. Let's check in with Kevin.
Now, you guys talking about Ross. He's such a valuable member of this team, and he knows Hudson well. I mean, he caught him at Auburn, and, you know, talking to Hudson today, he said, you know, I could be a nightmare to catch. In fact, there are shirts that Freddie Gonzalez made up a while ago, and I think Freddie has the only one remaining with the term bodacious on it. It's a picture of a bull. Remember that bull, bodacious, that was impossible to ride? Freddie said that was Hudson. Impossible for catchers to catch because he's got late movement. And Hudson said today, I'll tell you what, you put down a target, I'm sure to miss it. I mean, my fastball move all over the place. And Ross just knows me so well. And, you know, it kind of speaks to that relationship with catchers and what they do to a pitcher. And how about the relationship we've talked about, guys, with a young catcher and a pitcher? I mean, Hudson was talking about, you know, that with McCann. And even though Brian McCann is an all-star, you know, that side of his game doesn't get talked about much. And Hudson said, you know what, I think it's so valuable that, you know, Brian has had David Ross to kind of learn off of and lean on and, you know, watch how he catches and do things like that. It's been such a good relationship. You know, Ross said, you know, the thing I like about Brian is that he calls a game like a hitter. Like, he sees things that I necessarily don't look for. I'm looking for more pitch execution. He's looking like a hitter. That one Gonzalez can't get to. Tejada is 3 for 3. Guys?
Well, Ruben Tejada continues to impress with his bat.
You know, you have to be fortunate that way, Kevin, because I've been on a lot of teams where the backup catcher really has no interest in helping the first string catcher. And you're really lucky when you're a guy like McCann, who came up more of an offensive player, needed to learn the defensive side, and has developed a relationship with Ross. That's great teamwork. It's the reason why they're a winning team.
1 out and 1 on. Here's David Wright, who's walked and grounded into a double play 0 for 1. The Mets now with 7 hits off Hudson. Tejada not much of a base stealing threat. He's got 3, but not blessed with much speed. When he steals them, he has to use the surprise factor.
And the IoT pitch differential, and a little bit inside of the zone, over too much plate and up. Doesn't take much.
Think about that at bat for Tejada. Hudson got ahead of him 0-2. He laid off a couple of very close pitches, got the count full. You have to really like what you're seeing right now from Ruben.
What I like, what you're seeing, Gary, is Keith can talk to this more, is a line drive ground ball thing. You know, that we're very rarely seeing fly balls to the outfield. That's the key for Tejada.
So the pitchers out there are saying, okay, no one on base. They fall behind Tejada. Here's something to hit. But you know what? He can overswing. He can pop it up. He's going to be a singles hitter. We've talked ad nauseum about him having to hit the ball on the ground, line drives, hit and run, do the little things.
And David Wright, who has seen a steady diet of inside pitches from Hudson, has to spin away from this one.
Again, this ball, the way Hudson's ball moves, will chase you inside. You know, Tejada, we watched the last series. Polanco's made a pretty good career being a good defensive player and a singles hitter.
Well, we brought that name up when Tejada came up last year, that was a guy he should be emulating. He's doing a pretty good job right now. Tejada's now hitting 286, throwing the defense, and he's been a very productive player for this team and starting to carve out a niche for himself for this year and beyond. You know, Reyes is coming back to the lineup sometime soon. The plan was for him to play last night, tonight, and tomorrow. I don't know if there'll be a game in Binghamton tomorrow, probably not. And then be promoted brought back to the big club on Monday. But Tejada's got to play. Slider in there for a call, strike 3. So Hudson gets right looking.
Slider by design, Ron.
By design. Fastball in, and start to pitch in and bend it back over the plate.
The master of that was Esteban Loaiza.
You're right. That's pretty impressive pitching.
Second strikeout for Hudson. 2 out in the inning. And now Lucas Duda. Duda hit a hard base hit to right field his last time up. 1 for 2 on the night. Now it's a 6-game hitting streak and has 7 RBIs in those 6 games. Here's your Rusella 5th inning recap. Chris Capuano was perfect for the first 4. Dan Uggla's broken bat single broke up his perfect bid. He was promptly erased in a double play, so Capuano has faced the minimum over the first 5. Mets have had by far the better of the scoring chances. 7 hits off Hudson. A ball and a strike to Duda. By the way, the Mets are trying to do something tonight they haven't done all year. And that is win the first game of a homestand.
That's right.
They're 0-10 in first games of homestands. Nick Evans on deck, and that matches a major league record. Losing the first games of 10 straight homestands.
Who owns that record?
That was the Mets in 1979. They lost the first games of their last 10 homestands in 79.
That's when they were the Stems.
It's before you got here. Tejada at first with 2 down. And Duda pushes 1 foul. So if they lose this game, that would be something from the realm of never been done before. Last night, from the realm of never been done before, it was the 3 grand slams in 1 game by the Yankees.
Well, he had 16 at bats with the bases loaded. Come on.
I can't believe that no team had ever had 3 grand slams in a game. I mean, you've had players hit 2 in 1 inning. Here's the 1-2, and Duda's hit by the pitch. And more they've been pitching Lucas inside, and he's been rattled by it. Not rattled that way, but just hit by it.
Throttled by it.
Yes.
That slider in. Trying to make that pitch down and in, looking for Duda to swing over. Duda to swing over and hits him right in the top of the foot, it looked like.
Ankle.
Ouch.
That hurts.
That's the 12th batter Hudson has hit this year. That ties him with Dylan G for the National League lead. So now 2 out and 2 on. A chance for Nick Evans, who's walked and hit a comebacker 0 for 1. Throw down to second by Ross, and getting back in is Tejada. Ross trying to steal a 3rd out for his pitcher. Evans faced Hudson in the exact same spot in the first inning, 2 out and 2 on, and worked a full count and drew the walk. Now batting here with Tejada at second and Duda at first in the 5th. Hit hard, base hit. Here's Tejada being waved around third. Prado up with the ball. His throw to the plate is offline. And the Mets grab the first run of the game. Nick Evans with a 2-out RBI single, 1-0 New York.
Well, Evans continues to shine here, getting a chance to play. Another fastball, belts high up, inner half. Ball up the line, a little wide. And with 2 outs, Tejada gets an excellent jump and turns that corner sharply.
Nick Evans, 6 hits in his last 8 at bats. And that one produces the game's first run. Now Josh Tolley with 2 out and 2 on. He's 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of ground balls. And he takes the curveball off the plate. So the Mets finally break through against Hudson, who had stranded 6 runners in the first 4 innings. And Tolle into center field. On comes Bourne. It'll drop for a hit. Duda heading home. He'll score, and it's 2-0 New York. Josh Tolle with a 2-out RBI single.
Well placed. Got on his hands a little bit. Didn't break enough out over the plate. And hit too softly for Bourne to have any chance.
So the Mets have played it a pair here in the 5th with a couple of 2-out RBI hits. And now Justin Turner will try and keep the line moving. Turner's 0 for 2. He's lined out to right and grounded to short. That's now with 9 hits off Hudson in 4 2/3.
Quite an accomplishment coming into this game. He'd only given up 140 hits in over 170 innings pitched.
And Turner takes a fastball for a strike. Well, the Mets beat Hudson twice in 10 days back in June. Got 7 hits and 5 runs in 4 innings against him in that first game here, and then 3 runs and 4 hits over 4 innings the next time they faced him in a rain delayed game. 1-1 to Turner. Since that start on June 15th, Hudson has been on an incredible roll. 8-1, 1.91 over his ensuing 12 starts.
In his last 9 starts, he's gone 7 innings or more, which has been so important. Derek Lowe has become a 5-inning pitcher. Hansen out with the bad shoulder.
Hansen went back to Atlanta to have that shoulder re-examined. He's not making much progress. Rotator cuff tendonitis. That doesn't sound good.
No.
So they're relying now on Brandon Beachy as their 4th starter. And he's been doing an outstanding job.
Did a nice job last year, continuing it.
Now the 1-2 to Turner. On the inside corner, he got him. Turner didn't like the call from fielding Colbreth, but the inning is over. The Mets cash 2 on hits by Evans and Tolle and lead 2-0. Strawberry, right? No.
Mike.
Mike Piazza, who hit a couple of rather famous home runs against the Braves. First game back from 9/11. That was one that will always stand out. The one that capped the 10-run inning in 2000 against Terry Mulholland. Alex Gonzalez leads off in the 6th inning. Chris Capuano putting together one of his better outings as a Met. This, though, has been the troubling inning for Capuano, the 6th. Good changeup, and he's ahead on Gonzalez, 0-2.
Well, maybe he caught a break here, Gary, facing the bottom of the order here in the 6th.
Well, you can do that when you face the minimum the first 5 innings.
Right.
15 batters, 15 outs. Little bloop off the right side, and that'll go foul. Capuano in the 6th inning this year has an earned run average of 9.45. And as you see there, if you add in 6th and later, it's even higher. He's given up 8 home runs in the 6th inning, including last Saturday, one to Yuniesky Betancourt, one of the 3 home runs he allowed in that start against the Brewers.
That's 8 out of 21 now.
So I would imagine at some point that becomes a psychological as much as a physical hurdle. Gonzalez hits one out to center field, and Pagan easing back. 1 away. Let's check in with Chris Carlin. He's standing by with the New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Mike Pelfrey has company. That's Roy Oswalt giving up a grand slam to John Buck, who hit one against Pelfrey on opening night. 6-1 Florida, but the Marlins have really been struggling lately.
Gary, you were talking about the bugaboo for the pitcher. Unless you were told the stat, you wouldn't know it was the 6th inning, but you would know that, boy, in the middle of the game, I'm tending to struggle. The problem with the 6th inning is that usually that's at the end of the game for Capuano, who's been more of a 5-6 inning pitcher this year.
But tonight only 53 pitches in the first 5 innings, so he should be good to go deep into this game.
And I'm telling you what, with that pitch count you just mentioned, Garrett, but below 60 at this point with 7 strikeouts, that's how efficient he's been.
It's hard to do.
Yep.
See that pitch count very low tonight, no more than 13 pitches in any inning as Costanza tries that running, bunting, swinging thing, and it doesn't work.
Well, I've seen it 3 times now. It's been ugly all 3 times.
Tim Hudson on deck. Well, Capuano threatening to go very deep in this game if all goes well, which brings up a very interesting dilemma for Terry Collins. Team had the day off yesterday, and they've got the next 2 days off as well. Does he need to give his bullpen some work today, regardless of what Capuano does?
Absolutely not. Capuano is styling. Leave him out there.
3-2 now to Costanza. This is the first 3-ball count for Capuano tonight. He has struck out 7. 1 shy of his season high. In there, strike 3 call. 8 strikeouts for Capuano, matching his high as a Met.
You know when you're having a good night, you get the 3-2, you know you have to throw a fastball, and you throw it right on the black. I mean, that's a pitch you're not intending to throw. You just want to throw it outside and keep it down. He hits it right on the corner.
So 2 out and nobody on, and now Hudson, who flied out to right his first trip. The only base runner for the Braves tonight, a broken bat single for Dan Uggla, leading off in the 5th. He was erased on a double play. So Capuano still working to the minimum. Behind, though, on Hudson, 2-0. Michael Bourne would be next. And the get me over fastball doesn't get over. And now it's 3-0. So 2 straight 3-ball counts for Capuano, who takes a little stroll behind the mound.
Got to take a strike here if you're Hudson, of course. maybe even take 2.
Take 2 strikes.
Yep, to work the pitcher.
Here's one.
Nope.
Tejada uses the backhand and throws out Hudson's side retired. Ruben's still learning how to make that play. Capuano more than survives the 6th. He thrives. Sunday at 7 p.m. It's a one-on-one with Mark Sanchez. Hear what he has to say about stepping up as a captain this season. Plus, get a behind-the-scenes look at camp with Brian Schottenheimer. Mic'd up on Jets Nation. Inside camp Sunday at 7 p.m. only on SNY. Here's your Mets upcoming schedule. Remember, all Mets games on SNY are available in HD, presented by IOTV. And you can listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. No baseball the next 2 days. Mets are scheduled to be back in action on Monday for a doubleheader with the Marlins starting at 4 o'clock. Who knows what shape the city will be in on Monday, but the Marlins are in Philadelphia. They were going to try and play tonight and then a day-night doubleheader tomorrow. They've scratched the night game, and I don't know if they're going to end up playing that day game tomorrow. But at least they're within, train travel of New York. Off the end of the bat, squirreling out to Hudson, and he throws out Friday, one away. Friday retired for the first time tonight. Chris Capuano, the batter, is sacrificed and flying to right 0 for 1. The Mets are scheduled to play a 5-game series against the Marlins. Doubleheader Monday, and then night games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, stay tuned. Capuano takes a strike. Been a great night for Chris. 6 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 8 strikeouts. And he drives one to center field, chasing Bourne back. He turns around and finds it for the second out. Bourne, a Gold Glover, turned the wrong way at first, but no problem. Capuano has driven a couple of balls to the outfield tonight.
That was a bullet.
Well, we're going to show you our Toyota text poll again. We asked, what makes you the most nervous? A hurricane, B, a tornado, or C, an earthquake? And you still have time to express your opinion. 57508. Angel Pagan, the batter. Angel had an infield hit his last time up. Tried to advance to second, but was thrown out. Hudson with a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Hudson's up to 93 pitches, working with 2 out in the 6th. By contrast, Capuano's thrown only 69.
This could be the first inning that Hudson doesn't give up a base hit.
Ruben Tejada, who's had himself a big night, waiting on deck. Breaking ball hit up the middle, and Pagan has his second hit of the night. Stops after a wide turn. And so the Mets have 10 hits now off Tim Hudson. And Ruben Tejada will bat with a man aboard. Ruben is 3 for 3 tonight. Doubled, singled twice, and scored the game's first run in the 5th. Mets scored both their runs in the 5th on 2-out hits by Evans and Tolley. So Hudson, who came into the night 7th in the National League in batting average against, the league was hitting .222 against him, has given up 10 hits tonight. Mets are 10 for 25 tonight. That's a .400 batting average in this game. Scott Linebrink is up in the Braves bullpen, and the lefty George Sherrill is about to join him. Pagan not going, and it's a strike to Tejada. Hudson's given up 16 stolen bases this year in 21 tries. Pagan with 27 on the year. Angel right now is 9th in the National League in steals. Line to right, and Constanza right there to grab it, and that retires the side. Pagan had no idea how many out there were. Tejada is retired. After 6, Mets 2, Braves nothing. Scott Hairston reveals one of the proudest moments of his baseball career in an exclusive one-on-one interview. Plus, former Met Todd Zeile talks about his new passion off the field. Mets Weekly, new episode Sunday at 6, only on SNY. Michael Bourne leads off the 7th inning for Atlanta and swings and misses at the Capuano slider. Bourne has been up twice, struck out both times. Capuano has been brilliant tonight, faced the minimum over the first 6 innings, only one base runner against him. And pops the fastball just off the plate, 1-1. Capuano gave up a broken bat hit to Uggla in the 5th, and that's all.
Well, Bourne has just been fishing after that slider every at bat, so he's going to swing at it, keep throwing it.
Yeah, they struck him out the first time though on a fastball up, so they have 2 choices here. Let's see which one Tolle and Capuano go with.
Change up.
Right in on his hands.
Well, all the more reason now to throw something away, huh? See if the fish are biting.
Capuano has struck out 8, matching his season high. His career high is 12. He did that for the Brewers back in 06. Just got a piece.
It's 1-2 now. If you go fastball up, go way out of the strike zone. Don't give Bourne a chance to get a base hit. Going back with a changeup though. That's 2 he's missed with. Supposed to be down and away. Both inside to Bourne.
This is as deep as any Brave has gone into an at-bat tonight. 7th pitch upcoming. Tolle calls for the slider. And Bourne goes down swinging for the 3rd time. A season high 9 strikeouts for Chris Capuano.
What makes this pitch so difficult against the left-handed hitter is that Capuano steps towards that first base bag and throws across his body. Makes it very difficult angle for Michael Bourne.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Martin Prado. He had the toughest defensive play of the night made against him in the 4th inning. Turner ranging far to his right, then throwing wide, and Nick Evans making a nice play to catch it and tag Prado on the belt buckle. And a fastball for a strike, 1-1 to Prado. 2-0 game. Chipper Jones on deck. That makes this a must out for Capuano. Two balls and a strike to Prado.
Prado does not walk, so he will be swinging here. You could take advantage of that. No, I'm wrong.
So now Capuano behind 3-1. Prado's hit 11 home runs this year. The Braves have hit more home runs than any team in the National League. 149 in 132 games. 3-1 on the way. And Prado lines it, and Tejada catches it. 2 out.
Well,
look, Keith.
and it's just 3-1, 2-run lead. You got the guy on deck. You don't want a free pass here. If you're going to get on base, you're going to earn it. You got 8 gloves out there, and there you go.
Sometimes when you make the right choice, you don't throw the right pitch. Because you made the right choice, you get lucky, and that's what happened there.
So 2 out and nobody on. So Chipper Jones comes up with the bases empty. 0 for 2 tonight. Fouls off the fastball. Chipper's grounded to third and struck out. Good changeup by Capuano. 0-2.
really has just the perfect motion. Lots of motion. That ball just takes a left turn on Chipper.
2-strike pitch in the dirt. Couldn't get him to chase that one. Struck him out with that pitch the last time up. It has been a spectacular night for Chris Capuano. This guy's had a lot of spectacular moments in his career. And the 2 switch hitters have hit more home runs. 1-2. Another one down. 2-2. Braves bullpen is busy. Eric O'Flaherty doing some stretching. He's been the 7th inning guy with Venters in the 8th and Kimbrel in the 9th in the Braves winning formula. 2-2 from Capuano, and Chipper holds in time. Gary Cedarstrom, the first base umpire, says he did not swing.
Well, a lot of guys get called out on that one.
Yes. Chipper, benefit of the doubt.
Capuano has not walked about it tonight. He struck out 9. 3-2. He struck him out. Chris Capuano reaches double digits in strikeouts for only the 3rd time in his career, and the first time since 2007. 10 punch-outs for Capuano. Mets with a 2-0 lead, looking for more against Tim Hudson in the 7th with the heart of the batting order coming up. Wright, Duda, and Evans. David is 0 for 2 and a walk. And the curveball bends low for ball 1. Hudson about to throw his 99th pitch of the night. Duda waiting on deck. And another curveball off the plate, 2-0. Okay, I was off by 1. Not the usual ball strike ratio you see from Hudson. He's usually more in the 2-to-1 range.
Well, it tells you a little bit about Hudson, though. He gets in the 7th on a night when he doesn't have his good stuff.
Giving up 10 hits, a couple of walks, a hit batsman, so 13 base runners, but only 2 have scored. And Wright takes the fastball wide, and now Hudson behind 3-1. By the way, in the much ado about nothing category, the hysterical stories about David Wright being placed on waivers. we have to go through this every year in August and explain to people what waivers are about in August. Once the trading deadline passes at the end of July, as Linebrick and Sherrill are up in the Braves bullpen, every team puts virtually every player on waivers in the month of August. Every team, every player.
There you go.
And so when you read stories in August about so-and-so has been placed on waivers, strike three called as David goes down looking at a curveball. Fourth strikeout for Hudson. You have to ignore every one of those stories. So-and-so has been claimed by another team. Well, if he's claimed, you can pull him back or you can make a trade with that team. But just so everybody understands, every team puts every player on waivers in the month of August. So next time you read the story about so-and-so has been placed on waivers, just ignore it. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say. The only thing I like about it is that I like watching who claims players to block them from other teams. That's the only thing I like about it.
Like the other day, there was a story that the Rockies had claimed Wandy Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And Wandy didn't know if he was going to be pitching for the Astros against the Rockies or for the Rockies against the Astros.
Now that's interesting, right?
But the very fact of a player being placed on waivers, I think when it's written, it's meant to indicate, oh, they're trying to get rid of that player.
Yeah, no.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Now, if somebody does claim him, and you say, well, what are you willing to give up for him? Sometimes you can work out a deal in August, and that's how those August waiver deals are made.
I'm sure Wandy would rather have been pitching for Colorado against his former mates.
Taken for a strike, 1-1.
Got to pitch in Colorado, though. I guess Houston's bad, too.
They've got the humidor now.
Oh, that's right.
Wandy's a good little pitcher. I wouldn't mind having him on my staff.
That's right.
I know Keith's always been a big Wandy fan.
He pitches, for some reason, he pitches great at home and has a tough time on the road. The Mets always beat him up here, and he always beats up the Mets there and in Houston.
Dude is 1 for 2 on the night, and he lines one to left field, and that'll fall, or will it? Great dive, but it did hit the ground in front of Prado, who trapped it, and Duda's got his second hit of the night. Great effort by Prado.
Well, he got a bit of a late break here, too, but nice effort nonetheless. But he will not get an Academy Award for faking this catch.
Hold up the glove. I got it. Well, on a bounce. So the Mets' 11th hit. Duda with 2 hits on the night. And now Nick Evans, who drove in the first run of this game with a 2-out single in the 5th. Evans is 1 for 2 and a walk. Let's check in with Kevin.
Guys, been a trendy topic here since this ballpark opened about the distance to left and to right center field, and if the wall should be moved in. And it's something that Sandy Alderson will think about in the offseason. I asked Nick Evans, David Wright and Daniel Murphy came here for this park was built. It was just, there were tractors in the outfield, there was dirt on the wall, and they took batting practice, and Evans hit a few of them in the second deck. He said, look, you knew it was going to be big, but if you hit it well, it's going to go out. The thing is, people get frustrated when they compare it to other places. If you know that, you hit a drive to left center field, that might be out otherwhere. As long as you know that it might not get out, it's not a big deal. Dan Uggla from the Braves had a similar thing. He said, if I hit one good, it's going to get out. It's those balls that you don't get quite enough that in a lot of parks go out that aren't going to get out here. And as long as you know that, it's okay.
It's easy for Uggla to say. He only plays here 9 times a year.
Which is, by the way, what he said after that statement, Gary.
I don't know. I mean, I know there's been a lot of conversation about moving the fences in. I think it's great the way it is. I mean, you don't need to create another Citizens Bank Park. This is fine. I'm not sure if ultimately the decision is going to be to leave it as is or whether they're going to move it in.
Well, I think of it this way. At some point, you're just going to have to try to build your team around this ballpark or have behemoths like Lucas Duda, who the park doesn't come into play. We've seen Ike Davis when he's healthy, of course. When he hits them, he can hit him out of here easily.
Exactly. And I think, Sandy Alderson said last winter, shortly after he got the job, he was asked about building a team for this ballpark, and he said, you know, when home runs are hard to come by, that makes home run hitters more valuable. And if you can develop a couple of home run hitters, and the Mets, you know, they've developed Ike Davis, they've got Duda, who looks like he's a comer, and you know, they hope that you know, they've got a couple of guys in the minor leagues, maybe a Corey Vaughn down the road can be a home run hitter. That's good, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be easy.
By the way, in spring training, Corey Vaughn impressed me. I like his swing. I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good player.
If he can just hit half of what his dad did the 1 year, they'd be in good shape. 50 home runs, I think he had for San Diego.
Greg Vaughn had a 50 home run season. Maybe Brandon Nimmo someday.
There you go.
Will be a guy who can reach the fences. That's #1 draft pick. Two and two to Evans with Duda at first. And he works the count full. One thing Nick has shown, he's got a very good eye at the plate. He's willing to work a count, willing to wait for the pitch he can handle.
I almost think to a fault sometimes. I like swinging the bat. I like when he's aggressive up there.
Duda at first and 1 out. He's running. And Evans fouls back the slider.
Shows good confidence in Nick Evans against Hudson. Said he's going to get a piece.
Hudson trying to get through the 7th inning. If he does, it will be the 10th straight start that he's gone at least 7 innings. That's a rarity in this day and age. Duda's running again. No, he stopped. Doesn't matter. It's ball 4 to Evans, and the Mets have 2 men on.
Boy, Hudson thought he wanted that one. He asked, and that's going to be it for Hudson.
His 3rd walk, 2nd time he's walked Evans.
I think good eye by Nick. That ball outside of the corner. Could have been called, though, but good eye.
Josh Tolley coming up. The left-hander O'Flaherty ready in the bullpen, or is it Sherrill? Call to the bullpen brought to you by Lincoln. Hudson unable to go 7 tonight. Mets lead at 2-0. SNY will be Monday. Mets and Marlins meeting in a doubleheader. Coverage begins at 3:30 Monday afternoon. R.A. Dickey and Dylan G will pitch the 2 games for the Mets. Right now pitching for the Braves, the big left-hander George Sherrill.
The left-hander from Austin Peay State University. You see the games there. He has been very stingy with runners on base. Inherited runners 35. Only 4 have scored.
That's a great number. Josh Thole left in to face him. And you might ask, well, why is Thole batting here? You got 3 catchers on the roster. Well, Thole has had 2 at-bats against Sherrill, and he's had hits both times. Josh had an RBI single in the 5th inning. 1 for 3 on the night. Hits this one out to left. Prado playing shallow. And that's the 2nd out. One thing about these Braves outfielders, they're not afraid to play shallow to the opposite field. You've seen that a few times already in this game. Now here comes Freddie Gonzalez. So Sherrill did his job and got the left-hand hitter out. And now with Justin Turner coming up, they'll go to the veteran right-hander Scott Linebrink. 2-0 New York in the 7th. We'll be right back to Citi Field.
The guy with the throwing the hair. In the end, he's an ape. It's one of our commercials.
AL West. Scott Linebrink comes on to pitch for the Braves.
Well, started his career in Houston, did his best work in San Diego when he was a.
Turner rips one down the line. That's a fair ball going to the corner. Duda comes in to score. Evans being waved around. Prado trouble picking it up. Evans scores easily. A 2-run double for Justin Turner. And it's 4-0 New York.
Do not work a count when a reliever comes in and men on base. First ball, fastball hitting. I think Turner does not like to pull the ball. Was probably looking in and nicely done. Luckily that fan didn't get a hand on that ball.
Both those runs charged to Tim Hudson, so his book is closed. That's why he headed down the tunnel. Now Linebrink will walk Pridey intentionally and get to Chris Capuano. So Freddie Gonzalez took out the lefty, brought in the right-hander Linebrink, and his first pitch resulted in a 2-run double for Turner.
You know, if you were watching the game and you were Linebrink, Tim Hudson worked Turner inside all game long, eating him up inside, so Turner didn't want it anymore and turned on that pitch.
For Turner, his 44th and 45th RBIs of the season.
It's all about knowing the book. You know, when the book on you is inside and you get up with men in scoring position. A nice applause here for Capuano. Look in there. You're going to probably get it.
Boy, this is something we have not heard in a long time from a Mets crowd. The opportunity to give a hand to a pitcher who has thrown 7 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for weeks about what the Mets need as a starter to go out there and throw 7 scoreless. Well, Capuano has done that tonight, and the crowd very appreciative. What a tonic for Terry Collins. Wishes he could bottle it and have a game tomorrow to use it again.
Yeah, right?
It's always a good feeling when your starter can control a game the way Capuano has tonight. Ball and 2 strikes to Chris, who now has himself a 4-run lead to work with. By the way, as Capuano heads to the mound for the 8th with 87 pitches under his belt, he's only had 3 complete games in his career, all of them back in '06. But you know it's going to be on his mind tonight.
Well, he's done a nice job of getting 1 out at a time. So I would think that even with the lead, just stay in that same game plan.
Capuano has driven a couple of balls to the outfield tonight. Stays in the at bat here. Final line on Tim Hudson: 6 1/3 innings, 4 runs, 11 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a hit by pitch, 116 pitches. That matches his season high. And unless the Braves can rally, Hudson will have 8 losses this year, 3 of them against the Mets. 1-2 from line break, and the curveball sits high. Turner at second, Pridey at first with 2 down. All the RBIs for the Mets tonight have come with 2 outs. Evans and Tolley in the 5th, Turner here in the 7th. And Capuano goes down swinging to end the inning. But the Mets tack on a pair. Hudson exited. Linebrink came in to face Turner with 2 out and 2 on. First pitch, and Turner drives in 2. 4-0 New York going to the 8th. And the tornado is victorious over the earthquake and the hurricane. Now, I don't know, people might have their minds changed this weekend.
That's right.
But for right now, the tornado rules.
That tells me the folks around here are pretty confident about that they're prepared and ready to go.
You were saying that you and Keith have both been through all three, the earthquake, the tornado, and the hurricane, and you had your own opinions that you were going to wait until we saw what everybody voted.
We were with the majority. Tornado you don't want to be in.
Where
Tulsa.
I was Tulsa too, both in the same town.
The thing that's scary about tornado, when that pea green clouds come up over and it gets dark and you can't see and you hear it and you don't know where it is, but you hear it.
You do. It's a whirring sound. I see Tim Burdack that I've never heard that sound ever again.
It was like a train.
Yeah, it was like a train.
It really is like a train running by. And I didn't know where it was. And I was on run. I don't know if you remember. I was on 80. There's Johnny Venters, the outstanding left-hander for the Braves. I was on 70th and Yale. It hit on 80th and Yale, 10 blocks up, and took out a whole neighborhood. That was scary.
Capuano having his best night as a Met. Throws a letter high strike to Ugla 1-2. So when were you in a hurricane?
First year in pro ball in the Florida State League in St. Pete.
No problem.
I was right on Tampa Bay at the old Edgewater Beach Motel.
I remember that one down there, Al Lang Field.
Right, and Al Lang Field was underwater for 3 days, and then the sun came out and it dried that field up in a heartbeat.
That was a 5-star hotel, wasn't it? Edgewater Beach
efficiency motel.
So you're saying you had a good 3 days?
It was so much water. We were swimming in the after the rain left. It was like 6 feet of water. We were swimming out in the parking lot. Nothing else to do.
No down power lines there or anything, huh?
I forget, but
you were young.
I was.
2-2 from Capuano, and Ugla pokes one foul.
And of course, the earthquakes growing up in California.
Right.
Forget it.
Oh, we were in one just the other day.
Yeah, in Philadelphia. How about that?
Wasn't much.
A tremor.
Yeah. Jason Isringhausen joining Tim Burdack in the bullpen in case Capuano needs help here in the 8th. Long at bat for Ugla. Strike 3 call. Number 11 for Chris Capuano. What a night.
Well, he's gone inside with 2 strikes. I would say a half dozen times. Has gotten about 4 of those called.
11 strikeouts, just 1 shy of his career high. Set back in 06 against the Indians. Now Freddie Freeman, who has struck out and grounded into a double play. Brian McCann getting his bat taped, ready for a pinch hit appearance. The Braves have had but 1 base runner tonight. Ugla, a broken bat single in the 5th. He was erased in a double play. No walks, 11 strikeouts. Capuano in command. As a pitcher, you must just want to bottle this.
Oh, man. You know, I think my high was 12 strikeouts a couple of times, and it is just a special night when you're not a strikeout pitcher, you know?
And running that changeup in on Freeman.
Well, what happened to Freeman here, he's a low ball hitter, but Capuano has used that against him by burying that changeup in the dirt.
1-2. Turner handles the ground ball, and there are 2 out. And Chris Capuano just keeps on rolling through a brilliant night. Here's David Ross, who's been struck out twice. One skinny hit.
A broken bat hit.
Mets have had 34 one-hitters in their history, not including Bobby Jones' postseason one-hitter. Ross hits one out to right field. A long run for Duda. Back. It's over his head and off the Mo zone. Well, there's the second Atlanta hit. David Ross pulls in with a 2-out double. I don't know. Did Duda have a chance to catch this ball?
No, I don't think so. Where he was playing Ross to pull. Kind of lost it anyway. You know, with Duda, you're not going to get those kind of plays against the wall anyway. Hit it back against the defense, played it off the hip, played it off the mound.
So Capuano, for only the second time tonight, will have to pitch out of the stretch. 2 out and a runner at second for Alex Gonzalez, who's grounded out and flied out 0 for 2.
Good first pitch right there, up and in, move him off. Now he's been so effective with the changeup, particularly with Gonzalez, been having him out front, just in case he was leaning.
How about the hardest pitch he's thrown all night long, 92 miles an hour.
Up over 100 pitches for the night. And the changeup popped up. Could be playable. Evans over, he's there. And the side retired. 8 scoreless innings for Chris Capuano. A brilliant effort, 4-0 New York. Bucks grand slam off Roy Oswalt, the difference. Matt Wieters a 3-run homer. Mark Reynolds his 30th, and the Orioles lead the Yankees 12-4. They are in the 7th. Wilson Ramos a 3-run homer. Chen-Ming Wang pitching well against Dontrell Willis, and the Nationals lead the Reds 3-2. That's in the bottom of the 7th in Cincinnati. Right here we go to the bottom of the 8th. The Mets with a 4-0 lead on the Braves, and Johnny Venter's in to get an inning of work.
Well, Venter's just having a historical season. 71st game. Look at that ERA. Strikeouts, the innings pitched. Walks have, of late, gone up a bit.
Top of the batting order, Angel Pagan leads off and bounces the first pitch. Fair over the bag and down the line. Pagan's 3rd hit of the game. And he pulls in at second base with a leadoff double. Yeah, sometimes a ground ball pitcher gets a ground ball that goes in a good spot for the hitter.
Right over the bag.
And just like Tejada said, Chipper Jones had to be wary of the bunt. Was in, ball by him.
The difference is he did have to be wary against Pagan. Not so much against Tejada, who's had a very nice night with the bat. 2 singles, a double. Lined out to right his last time up.
And they're going to play the corners in for the bunt. My feeling is let Tejada swing the bat. You got a 4-run lead.
To the right side, so Tejada gets the job done. Uggla throws out Tejada. Pagan's at third with 1 out. Productive out for Tejada. Time for a New York State Smokers quit line game break. Oh. All right, guys, David Wright getting an intentional pass. And that'll get Lucas Duda to the plate with first and third and 1 out. This will be the second intentional walk issued by the Braves tonight. First one went to Pridey in the 7th inning, and now Wright getting the intentional walk in the 8th. By the way, there is nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen, and so it would appear Chris Capuano is going to get a chance to finish what he started tonight. Chris has 3 career complete games, 2 shutouts. That all came in 2006. And now 5 years later, working on a 2-hitter going to the 9th. Here's Duda, who's been on base 3 times, 2 hits, and been hit by a pitch, and he scored 2 runs. Pagan at third, Wright at first, and 1 out. Well, the last shutout by a Met was a year ago. R.A. Dickey's 1-hitter against the Phillies in August of last year. Duda swinging and missing, 0-1. Well, the Cholula flamethrowers out of the Braves bullpen have just been phenomenal.
Add up those strikeouts. Jeez.
Venters and Kimbrel have been just about untouchable. Nick Evans waiting on deck. He's had another nice night at the plate.
And Duda cracks one to deep right center field. Back goes Constanza deep in the gap, and it hits off the fence. Pagan is in. Wright being waved around. He'll score. Lucas Duda with a 2-run double. 6-0 New York. That snaps a 24 appearance scoreless streak for Johnny Venters.
Well, a sinker that just stayed up over the plate, right down the middle. And Duda, I tell you what, he impresses, stayed right in. Watch David Wright with a perfect read, never hesitated. Knew it was going to drop. Nicely done.
So did that fan in front of the camera. He knew all along.
That's right.
Now Nick Evans takes low and away. Well, the Mets got to Venters in Atlanta in June, and now they've gotten to him again. Seems as though the Mets have done better against Venters than anybody else has this year. Evans has been on base 3 times tonight. He's driven in a run.
We'll take a look at the IOTV. Pitch differential. Well, there you go. Wants it low and away, and belt high right down Broadway.
Slow ground ball foul. It's the second time this year that the Mets have ended a long scoreless streak by Venters. He had gone 22 straight innings before the Mets scored on him on June 16th. He had gone 22 2/3 before they scored on him tonight. I guess he's human.
Against the Mets, like Tim Hudson.
Mets have a chance to hang 3 losses on Hudson this year. Well, Duda and Evans front and center. These are a couple of guys who are going to get to play virtually every day the rest of the season. Duda getting a chance to show what he can do in right field, and Evans getting the opportunity to play first base as a result. And the results over the first few days of this experiment, awfully positive. 2-2 to Nick, and he lays off in another full count. 3 of his 5 plate appearances tonight have gone to a full count. He's walked twice and singled in a run. Goes down swinging. So Venters has his second out. Christian Martinez is up in the Atlanta bullpen. Josh Thole coming up. Thole 1 for 4 tonight, singled and a run in the 5th. Mets with 6 runs and 14 hits tonight. They battered Hudson for 4 runs and 11 hits over 6 1/3. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, the Braves will have 8, 9, and 1 in the order. Constanza, the pitcher's spot, and Bourne against Capuano, who will be bidding for the shutout.
I'm not seeing a lot of sink on his fastball, Ronnie, like we're used to seeing.
71st appearance, Keith, and it's not September yet. Used in a game that they're losing 4-0. I mean, I just don't understand it.
I would have to think that's because they have 3 days in a row off after today.
I don't care. A guy like Venters is a lot of sinker ball pitchers need a lot of work. This guy is a power sinker pitcher. Would have been a beautiful time to get him really a great rest. Personally, that's how I feel. Just mentally a rest, Gary.
Yeah, just to play devil's advocate, he had not pitched in 4 days.
Okay.
So he had the 3 off days, and that would have been a week.
You're right. That's too long, then. I'm wrong. But I'm just thinking from the mental side of it. He just seems like he's been in there every day for them in really big spots because they don't score a lot of runs.
The perfect world for Freddie Gonzalez would have been him going out there and having a clean inning.
You're right.
Right. Which is why they have Martinez up, I'm sure. But Venters gets the 3rd out. Back-to-back strikeouts of Evans and Thole. But Lucas Duda helps Chris Capuano get some more breathing room heading for the 9th. Duda against the lefty, hitting at 415 feet for a double to drive in 2. 6-0 New York as we go to the 9th. Coverage of tonight's Mets-Braves game. All the information on Hurricane Irene and her impact. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame, only on SNY. Chris Capuano takes the mound for the 9th inning, working on a 2-hit shutout. Jose Constanza leads off for the Braves in the 9th. He's 0 for 2. Fly to left and struck out looking. Capuano has struck out 11 tonight, 1 shy of his career high. Looking for his first complete game and first shutout in 5 years.
And has walked no one. so key, Ron.
Yeah, it is. Well, what he had to do, he knew he had to match zeros with Hudson for a while, and he did it.
And Constanza just standing and looking. 2 balls and a strike. Brooks Conrad on deck to pinch hit, and then Michael Bourne here in the 9th. Let's keep the bullpen busy in case Capuano needs help. He started the inning with 103 pitches. Most he's thrown in a game this year is 106. He's at that right now. And Constanza dribbles 1 foul. In his career, Capuano's thrown as many as 125, but again, that was 5 years ago. So Terry Collins will keep a close eye. Pedro Beato throwing in the bullpen. Jason Isringhausen observing, along with bullpen coach John Debus. Two. Hit softly past the mound. Turner circling in against the speed of Constanza and gets it. 1 away.
A couple nice plays by Turner tonight. We know he's dinged up a little bit and really took a nice path to that ball with Constanza running.
Now Brooks Conrad will be the pinch hitter.
You know you're doing good when you go through the order, and a lot of guys are only going to have 3 at bats.
Yeah.
3 plate appearances in the lineup. A lot. That means you're really on top. You're having a great day on the mound.
Conrad has 12 pinch hits this year, including 3 pinch hit home runs. Capuano's faced just 1 over the minimum tonight. Braves have had only 2 base runners all night long. And for a rare time tonight, he's behind in the count 2-0. A single by Ugla in the 5th, a double by Ross in the 8th, and that's it. And now it's 3-0 to Conrad. Capuano has not been 3-0 all night.
It's another one of those here, hit it.
Here, hit it twice.
Michael Bourne on deck. There's the strike. Actually, he was 3-0 once before. That was against Hudson.
That's right.
In the 6th. Eventually got him to ground out. And Conrad fouls off the fastball, and now it's 3-2.
No batting gloves, Keith, on Conrad. Rarity these days. Just a little dirt and go get him.
Maybe he's from the Moises Alou school.
Here we go.
3-2. In there! Strike 3 call. Chris Capuano has tied his career high with his 12th strikeout of the night.
Fastball away, and paint in.
Nicely done.
Now Michael Bourne with 2 out and nobody on.
And
Bourne has been up 3 times and struck out all 3.
Sorry, Garrett, I didn't mean to step on you there. Just swinging at sliders all night long, and he leads them off with 1.
This time he takes it for a strike. By far the best pitch game by a Met this season. A ball and a strike to Bourne. Chris Capuano, who just turned 33 years of age last week. It's been a struggle for him since the All-Star break. In his 7 starts since the break, 1-3, 6.12, but tonight, brilliant. And now the Braves are down to their final strike.
He has just not made the adjustment.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Bourne. Martin Prado would be next. Two. Just got a piece. And Bourne's still in there. Danny Acosta getting ready just in case. Capuano about to throw his 120th pitch of the night. Down the left field line, slicing toward the corner. Foul. Only 2 Mets have thrown 9 innings in a game this year. Mike Pelfrey did it twice. Mets have had 2 other complete games, an 8-inning complete game by R.A. Dickey and a rain-shortened one for Dylan G. They have not had a complete game shutout. Now it's 3-2 on board.
He wanted to paint him away with a fastball. Throw it again. There it is.
3-2. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Chris Capuano throws a 2-hit shutout. He establishes a new career high with 13 strikeouts. The Mets' first complete game shutout of the season, the 3rd of Capuano's career, and the most brilliant performance by a Mets starter in 2011.
Well, Keith, not too much to say on the pitching department. Just as Gary said, just a tough second half had been for Capuano and just turned it around in one game. Great job by Josh Tolley.
And the Mets banged out 14 hits tonight. And important to note, Pagan and Tejada at the top of the order, each with 3 hits and a run scored. Lucas Duda continues to shine, 3 for 4 on the night, a 2 RBI double, scored 2 runs. Nick Evans drove in a run, and also Turner, Justin Turner with a big double that made it a 4-0 ball game in the 7th.
Chris Capuano, front and center tonight. A brilliant 2-hit shutout as the Mets, in a series that became just a 1-game affair because of the impending hurricane, got a hurricane of a pitching effort tonight from Chris Capuano. What a night.